Welcome back to Holistic Healing Association. Today I have with me Maria Hancock from the UK. Hello, Maria. Thank you for joining
Hi
us.
there. Hiya.
And can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So yeah, I live in the UK just between London and Brighton. I live with my husband and sometimes my two kids because they're 20 and 22 now, and they're at university. And these two cats,
And what's your
Porridge.
two cats' names there?
This is Porridge, and this other one next to me is Marmite. They're not very good friends though.
And what
Sitting
kind of cats
separately.
are they?
Well, this one's black. They're both they're rescue cats. We always get rescue cats. So
Awesome.
yeah, this one's just pure black and the other one's black and white. Um Always loved cats. When I was growing up, we always had so many animals, cats, dogs, guinea pigs, fish, gerbils, hamsters. Yeah. So they're part of the family. And
Animals are definitely part of the family. They can bring us so
yeah.
much.
Oh, they're part of my healing. They really are.
Mine too.
Especially, yeah, Marmite. He when he lies on my chest. Oh, it's better than a weighted blanket. You just like the weight of him on my chest. Just, I love that.
That's actually a technique that's interesting that you can use with service animals. That
Ah,
you have, let's move the screen here. So you
hmm.
have the dog, for example, lay on the chest,
Yeah.
person who has anxiety, and it's called a deep pressure technique. And
Ah,
it helps calm a person
yeah,
down who's suffering from anxiety. So it's
yeah.
interesting you're saying that, right?
Mm, yeah,
It does actually. There's a technique out there that they do train service dogs for.
yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, because when I do anchoring, it's always my hand on my chest there, pressure. I love that. But he's even better when he lies there. And then it's the purring as well, because you get the vibrations of that deep purr. Just love it.
I was actually just talking to Mother Mary last night, and she was talking about how much
Right.
animals can help us, and mentioned particularly the cat's purr and
Oh,
how that can help regulate our nervous system, um,
oh,
and help us heal. And different
yeah.
types of animals, for example, horses or
Mm.
dogs, they all have a different way to help heal us.
Oh,
And it sounds like your cat is like a resource for you.
definitely. Yeah. Oh, what I'd do without him. Yeah, and it's even so much that when we go on holiday, I find it difficult because I know I'm not going to be with them. It's difficult going away. Yeah. But yeah, I've had anxiety about going away. And
And where are you
yeah.
going?
Oh, well, this year we're going to Madeira. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exciting.
I love traveling. Yeah. And I'm so much yeah, I love traveling so much, especially now because I had chronic pain as well. For 25 years, I had pains in my arms, repetitive strain injury, and I had knee pain as well for about 13 years. But as part of my recovery journey, I overcame that a couple of years ago. About 2 years ago. I haven't got pain now. So
Well, that's a
that's
relief.
yeah. I'll probably get onto that more. But yeah, because I help people. I'm now trained to help other people to overcome pain because pain can be caused by stress, trauma as well. And I do believe my knee pain came on a year to the day after, well, when I'll go into it, yeah, after all of the trauma I had with my dad. And that definitely was due to that. I'm
Okay.
certain.
What
Yeah.
would you like to tell us your trauma story?
Yeah. So I suppose I would go back to childhood to explain kind of the background. Always starts there. So so really I would say that the trauma that I had later with my dad, you know, it starts when you're a child. And um so my dad, he had mental health issues. He I know he had a bad childhood, but he then, what I don't like is when people say they are a victim and then they're not responsible for their behavior.
Right.
That's how he was.
Okay.
It's like, I'm a victim of my childhood. I've got bad behavior, but you have to all run around me to make me feel better. So I grew up in a house where it was not okay to be angry at dad. Uh, that was dangerous. It was not okay to answer him back. I didn't dare. He only hit me once, and I was very young. He would never have done that with my mum around. My mum was lovely, thankfully. I always say, thank God that I'm the person I am because of my mum, because she was the one that gave me the unconditional love. She's the one that was brought up in a family with unconditional love. She knew what it was like, to be a good parent. Yes, she wasn't perfect, but I'm a parent and none of us are perfect.
I know
We've
that
done,
feeling. None of us are
yeah,
perfect.
no. And, the thing is, I will say to my kids now, I will say to them, I've no doubt caused you trauma. And they don't understand, I'll explain to them what trauma is. And I don't mean that, I've abused you. I understand now trauma can be the little things. It can be just not being able to tell somebody how you're feeling just because you're worried about what they might say. It's not having the unconditional love. It's being told you're not allowed to express your feelings. So yeah, so my childhood, um, I've lost my track. So my child was, I felt like I was a sensitive child, and maybe because of how I was brought up, I don't know, but I just felt like I could tell where there's tension, and I'm sensitive to people's emotions. I would be sensitive to, stepping on eggshells, mustn't let dad get angry. And I just would have a look from him and I'd be running upstairs in tears from a look. He didn't even have to raise his voice, but so he was always
That's
like
hard.
used as a weapon. It is really hard, and
And
I hate that.
I find that with a lot of people with developmental trauma, when they grew up in a home that they didn't always feel safe, as an
Mm,
adult, they're very aware. They're
mm,
very like a little extra sensitive. Like I don't
yeah,
mean like extra emotional. I mean like they're very in tuned with their environment,
yeah,
hyper vigilant because
yeah,
it's always like, is it safe? Is it safe? If you're growing
yeah,
up like that, that's the impact it
mm,
has on you. And then as an adult, it's right.
yeah,
You always knew. So you continue to do that.
yeah. But I would feel like I remember I would have this dream that I understand now. I dreamt that I would look outside the window and see a huge storm coming. And it was like the sense of the world ending. And my mum would be there just next to me saying, it's all fine. And I would be really angry and thinking, why are you telling me that? Because it's like I had deep understanding that my mum was trying to pretend it was all fine. And I was actually seeing it how it was and feeling it how it was. But I was being told no. And,
And you had to
things like I
process
would,
the emotions.
yeah. And I would
And again,
say,
I
I
think
remember,
that's something that is when we're growing up in a home like that, yes, lots of times we try and make it more normal, right?
yeah,
Everything's normal, everything's fine. Let's not step on any
yeah,
toes. Let's not make
yeah,
dad
mm,
angry. Let's have everything peaceful and calm, and let's
yeah,
not cause any trouble, because
yeah.
if we cause
Mm.
trouble, what's going to happen?
Yeah, we all know what that ends up with. And I can see, I understand now that my mum knew not to cause trouble. She knew not to argue with him because there was no arguing. It was his way or the highway. There was uh, no negotiation. He was entirely selfish. So she had to make us like that as well. And there was no telling him his behavior's out of order. So I understand why she had to be that way and that she was the peacekeeper. But yeah, to be told, yeah, that we had to be like that as children is just so sad. And then
Very
so you
difficult.
grow up knowing you've got to be like this. And I felt quite sorry for him, thinking, I feel like I can't even, when I got to about 20 years old, I felt like I can't tell him what a shit dad he is because he'd be so upset. And he more or less said to me that he couldn't remember because he had a mental breakdown. And I think that was before I was born. I'm the youngest of, I got two older brothers. Um, so I don't know how, that I think my oldest brother, he's got a lot of trouble. He's got a lot of issues. And I think it affected him more. Um, so, and then what happened was then my mum and dad split up. I felt like I suddenly had a good relationship with my dad. Now, of course, now I know him as well. I realized in the end my dad's a narcissist, a covert narcissist. So they're not as, the covert narcissists are more of the shy ones. They're not grandiose. He could appear like a nice person. Underneath, you have no empathy, entirely selfish. And so although I got to know him, and he actually, because he just didn't show any interest in me at all. I felt like an inconvenience. It's like, if if I got into a fight with my brother, he wouldn't want to come and find out what was wrong. He would just be, we're told off and shut up. If I was hurt, just shut up. So you just get this feeling like he doesn't care about me. And
And that
I
would be really
nearly,
hard
yeah, I
as
remember
attachment
feeling
styles.
this internal anger. And I remember I felt like I wanted to disappear. I very nearly had an eating disorder, I would say. And I remember having that wonderful feeling of control of, I'm just gonna lose weight. And it was, I remember noticing the feelings, thinking, I'm going to lose weight and you're going to start caring about me then because I'm going to disappear. And I want you to notice that I'm disappearing.
You want him to notice you.
Yeah. Yeah. But luckily it was like I was age 16 and I just started to make really good friendships um out of school because I didn't feel confident at school and had been bullied. So I think it really helped. I was working and I met some friends and then I started going out socially and started to get confident. And so the eating disorder just that yeah
So the human
just disappeared.
connection, the community,
Yeah,
you heal, so
yeah,
you can develop a more severe
yeah,
eating disorder.
yeah. And
You
in fact,
started talking awareness.
the friends I made then, I've still got now.
Nice.
So I feel like that's just so key. I feel like sometimes the universe just sends you what you need. And I felt like, yeah, the universe sent me some friends there that,
Because you needed them.
yeah,
I
yeah,
believe that. I believe, yes. I personally, I believe sometimes God sends people into your life when you
yeah,
need them, right? And
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
that's I have some friends like that. It's really they're
Yeah,
significant.
yeah, totally. And then later when I really needed them, because what happened was then I would say my worst trauma with my dad was, it was in my late 30s. So things, my relationship with him had been a bit kind of, he got hot and cold. He wants you in his life and you're useful and he's really nice. When you don't become as useful, he goes cold on you. So I was aware of this and I was feeling so scared and insecure in the relationship. But because he's been nice and you've had really nice times when he's taken me out and made me feel special, you always yearn to get that back.
Makes
He can be
perfect
a really
sense.
nice person.
And you always
Yeah,
want that. You crave it. You just wish there was all the
yeah,
time.
yeah. It's like throwing you a few breadcrumbs and you just think, I want more. Just give me more. And if I can show you enough love, maybe I'll get enough back. And then when I saw how he had a new partner and he he seemed to show a lot of affection to her grandchild. That really upset me because I would see him with her and think, you weren't like that with me.
Yeah.
And I found that really difficult. Then I told myself, if if he's like that with my children, that will somehow make it better. And then I had my children, and it didn't go the same. So it
That's
started
hard.
out quite nice. Yeah, really hard. And then what happened was it was just edging away all the time, just like, oh no, we're not going to see you. We're not going to see you because we're just feeling tired and stressed. Even on my birthday, I was meant to be going out, meeting up for lunch. No, we're stressed today and tired, and we'd rather stay at home and not come out and get stressed. And I'm thinking, what? It's my birthday? That's a stress.
Mm.
And more and more, just seeing how selfish he was. And I knew I couldn't tell him. It's like, I can't voice my frustration because you're going to blow up like you did when I was a kid, and I'm scared. But if I do that, you'll, give me the silent treatment. And then in the end, he was about to do that to one of my brothers, moved to Singapore and hardly contacted him. But it's mutual. And my brother, quite rightfully, he said to me, I don't really feel like I've got a relationship with dad. I'm not interested. And I would be the one I'd be phoning him and saying, oh, remember it's Father's Day or it's dad's birthday. Remember to send him a card because I didn't want my dad to be upset. So I was
Right.
like the peacekeeper. I was the one getting stressed, trying to hold everyone together.
I
And then
understand.
in the end, my dad, what sparked it all off was my dad he told me that he was gonna tell my brother that he didn't want to have a relationship with him. And it just so hurt me that I don't want my brother upset. And I thought, if you do that to my brother, you could do that to me.
Mhm.
So, and then because my dad's partner ugh, she's a toxic person. I think she's probably a narcissist as well. She was saying really nasty things about my brother in front of me. And that was the last straw. Because I told him, I said, I'm really upset with her behavior, that you're letting her talk about your son like that. And it's really upsetting me. Can you have words with her? And he just said to me, "Oh, you can't tell Anne anything like that. You can't. She won't listen. She'll blow up." And I thought, oh, so you don't care about my feelings? And then there was a lot of other things going on at the time where he just let me down and just didn't made me feel like he doesn't care. And so in the end, and I just blew up at him. And I'm so glad I did. It was just like
After all the years, it all came out.
after all the years, I remember I'd had enough. And he phoned me because he knew that me and my husband as well, who had had enough, we'd been really off with him. That's it. Because my dad didn't care so much about my behavior. He just ignored it. But the fact that he was upset that my husband had hardly looked him in the eye when he'd gone to shake his hand, and he was concerned about my husband being upset with him. That and I knew exactly. I thought, yeah, it's because you're a narcissist. You care more about what other people think than your own family. So I just blurted it all out. Not all of it. I just blurted out some of it on the phone. I am sick of this and that. And it was just like the tip of the iceberg, what I told him, but I shouted at him. And I just felt like when I told him, I felt like such a huge mix of elation. It's like I'm standing in my own, my own 2 feet, and I am telling you. And it was like my younger me there going, yes. But I was so scared at the same time. It was just like, it's all come out now. And oh my God, what have you done, Maria?
The
You
little
can't
you
take it
came
back.
out screaming.
Yeah. And so it's like the shit hit the fan. And he did not like it at all. And he was shocked because I was always so nice. I think he was so shocked because it was me, because I was always such the peacekeeper, the people pleaser. I would never, it's always he could manipulate me and tell me what to do, and I would just put up with shit. And now I was not, and he was not happy. So
And how did he react?
terrible. He expected, yeah. So it became first that I was told I was in the wrong. I was not meant to feel that way. It was all, when I've looked into narcissistic abuse, it's all pure that. So it was my problem, that the fact I was upset was my fault. That I was, they didn't, he said to me, they did not mean to upset me, therefore I was wrong in being upset.
It's never
And
wrong
because
to feel our emotions.
absolutely, but it just made me so confused at the time. I just never had this happen to me. I was like, what? And I was then, because they had reacted and felt upset, he said to me that I had to say sorry to them. I thought, this is so bizarre. And he twisted everything that I said to make me seem like the bad person. And it just makes you question your own mind. That I thought, have I got this all wrong? He told me I was overreacting.
Gaslighting.
Yeah. So then I thought, I'm not overreacting. And I thought, well, actually, if I was to explain how he made me feel all of my life, he'd have more understanding. But in the end, I thought, no, he's just going to feel even worse. I'm just going to dig a bigger hole. So it just escalated then. He started to write letters, because in the end we'd met, and he just got so angry with me, and I was scared. He just kept reiterating all the same rubbish, and then he started writing to me and sending me really nasty letters. So in the end I had to ask my husband to read the letters first, because I had to protect myself. So yeah, the last one he sent, I said to my husband, read it. and tell me if there's anything nice. And he just threw it in the fire. He said, you don't want to read any of that. None of
So
it's
you
nice.
learned boundaries and
Yeah,
you came into your own
yeah,
and really stood into your
yeah.
boundaries. So it's good.
So I had to just, yeah, even he'd write a nasty thing he'd send me a birthday card, but put a nasty remark in it. So in the end, I wrote to him and say, I don't want any further contact. Then he'd try and go through people. He would tell people lies. He'd tell my brother stuff that hadn't happened. He'd twist it all round. He would even send like Christmas cards to family and say, I don't know what's up with Maria and Sean, and make us out to be the bad person. It got really bizarre. And so I just need to cut him off completely.
Yeah.
And it felt good because I actually felt like, because I was trying to tell myself, this is my dad and I need to try and put this right. And I spent so much energy and time. And I had, probably that year after it happened, I had such terrible anxiety and insomnia. And my nervous system was uh, just totally unregulated. I understand now. I had at the time, my mum had Alzheimer's and she was really not well. So I felt like I'm losing my dad, I'm losing my mum. So that I'd say, yeah, that was just the worst year of my life. I,
That's hard.
yeah,
All at once.
yeah. And my son wasn't well. He had lung problems at the time. So it was awful. But what really, what I found was you find where your strength is, you find who your friends are. And
Who
I
your true
just,
friends are. When you go through
through
a horrible
friends,
experience,
mm,
your true friends become clear.
yeah, yeah. Because I would tell them, oh, he said this, or, and they'd say to me, Maria, you're not that kind of person. What he's telling you is wrong. They'd just say to me, you have the right to feel that way. You're a lovely person. You're not the bad person he's trying to paint you to be. And they just stood by me, and my husband stood by me, and yeah,
A support and a community can bring a significant amount of healing. I'm glad you had that.
yeah.
How did embodied processing help you?
Well, I found that quite late on, because this was about 14, 15 years. And then I just felt like, because then, yeah, it was a year after it, then I got my knee pain. So although all of the main kind of the anxiety, the insomnia had gone, then I had knee pain. So what happened was then I discovered mind body syndrome, and I realized that actually the chronic pain was caused by the trauma and the stress and neuropathic pathways. I then did work to reprogram my brain really to unlearn the pain. And then I discovered, because I was still really working on my nervous system, because then as soon as the pain went, I had anxiety.
Mhm.
And then I had to work on the anxiety. And I discovered, mindfulness and just being allowing of feelings. I found that really, and I was doing a lot of
Learning to
self-soothing.
process your emotions.
Yeah, and really I had to learn to feel my emotions again, because I realized, because of a lot of people with chronic pain, they've been repressing emotions over the years, so therefore you have pain instead. So I had to learn to feel safe, to feel my emotions again. And so then I discovered the embodied processing course, and then I had some sessions I paid sessions first with a practitioner, and I found that, oh wow, this is the missing link, because I also had been a hypnotherapist and mindfulness practitioner for about 14 years now, and I just felt like there was something missing, that working with the thoughts, trying to change them doesn't work, and I just felt like there's something missing, and I really found that, yeah, the embodied processing, working on the body and the emotions and releasing the emotions, has just been so positive, that, yeah, all the practice I've done, it's just so beneficial, and
So
I
there's a
feel so
missing
much.
link. Embodied
Yeah,
processing is a missing link.
and it also, it it's so beneficial because you learn to take on stronger and stronger emotions. So I feel like now I can hold really strong emotions and feel resourced. And so, yeah, if I get some anxiety come up, I can be with it more, and just be more. It's self-compassion as well. Just be more kind of loving, caring to myself, and just learning to be with the emotions, and learn that, emotions are normal,
And
but
everything, emotions okay to feel, including anger.
yeah, 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 it's okay to feel anger. Yeah.
And how did your
uh,
animals help you heal?
oh, just my favorite thing is just, yeah, sitting, stroking them, or having, yeah, Marmite sit on my chest. Sitting outside as well, that is part of my healing. I like to do proper earthing, take my shoes off, be on the earth, be just listening to nature, sitting outside, or go for a walk. And that's been my healing as well, going for walks, hugging trees, just lying in my hammock outside.
Peaceful.
It takes you
Sounds
out of your
peaceful.
mind, doesn't it?
It can.
Mm.
And what advice would you have for our viewers?
Um, I would say to, yeah, to learn to feel your emotions and listen to them, because listen to your gut feeling about people, and they are just you are more powerful, I think, from feeling your emotions. You can They teach you. They are your teacher.
Our
Um,
bodies and yes, our emotions can teach us. And going on a healing journey can be very empowering. And
mm,
pain can be a great teacher. Pain can teach
yeah,
us something that joy can never teach us.
yeah,
And it can make us start a journey. And when we
mm,
start a journey, we can find ourselves and we can get to know ourselves at a deeper level and
yeah,
start to question what life is about and the meaning of life. And it can take us places where we never thought we would go. And
yeah. And I think I wouldn't be here now if it weren't for all of the stuff I went through. I could still be sitting in my rubbish job I hated. Because it was after going through all of that I thought, oh, I'm not sitting in it anymore. I'm going to leave, and I'm going to learn hypnotherapy and do something. Um, so I think, and also, yeah, that's another thing, forgiveness. That's been a key to my healing, in just forgiving my dad for being what he is. It's because you just have to, it's just, if you have anger, if you're always, not forgiving somebody and holding anger towards them, it just makes you so hateful and hurts you. So that's taken a long time to work on, but
I agree. I
that's
felt the
also
same because carrying around hate in our heart, and I've experienced this, it's
mm,
hard. And when
mm,
we release the hate, we feel more light. And
yeah,
forgiveness is a process. Sometimes we can feel angry and we can feel hatred towards them, and other days we don't.
yeah,
And I believe forgiveness is not necessarily letting down the boundaries, but just wishing the
yeah,
person well and letting go of the hate.
mm,
So that's good. And I know with narcissists, many of them struggle with deep shame and not feeling good
mm,
enough. And it is too
yeah,
a trauma response. It's
yeah,
not necessarily him, it's what happened to him. And it
I
sounds like
know.
your dad needs a lot of healing.
Yeah, that's why I always think about, the person that he was born. I just think he was born a beautiful baby that wanted to be loved. And I just think it's so sad. I can feel so sorry for him, really, that he is how he is. So yeah, I just try and have compassion towards him. And, even though, he's just ignored my children as well, but I tell them, the good parts of him, and I kind of show compassion to him, hoping that they will do the same, holding
But you
just,
sound like
yeah,
a beautiful person because yes,
oh,
there's good in
thank you.
everyone. There's good in everyone, and
There
not
is.
everyone would have that perspective from what you've experienced. But
Mm,
I do, like, I agree. Like, I also have been hurt, and same thing. The person was very selfish, um, and didn't. It's like they're looking through a different glasses than the average person would, and understanding all the pain that they have experienced allows allowed me to forgive. And when I forgave, it was a significant part of my healing.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so important. And I don't think everyone understands it, because that they say, oh, but that's letting them off the hook. It's not.
So,
It's letting me off the hook. It's
right.
letting
Because
me.
when we carry hate in our heart, whomever hurt
Mm,
us, they may not
mm,
even be thinking about us. And we're like
yeah.
carrying we're like carrying around
Mhm.
a very heavy weight, or we're like putting ourselves in a cage and we may not
Yeah.
even realize it. But when we
No.
forgive and we let go, and that does not mean letting down boundaries, it's like a
Mm,
release.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And what advice do you have for our viewers
Um, to have cats.
and dogs?
Yeah. To have animal, to take life less seriously. And yeah, chuck out, yeah, anyone that's toxic in your life, it doesn't matter if they're family. And I've had quite a few clients over the years that felt like they have to keep people in their life that are toxic just because they're family. But I say to them, no, people that deserve to be in your life need to show that
That they
they
deserve
deserve
to
to
be in
be in
your
your
life.
life. Yeah. And anyone else doesn't deserve it. And you can choose your family. So I say to my closest friends, they're my family. They're my sisters. And
I agree.
yeah,
You
choose
don't
your
have
family.
to share the same blood to be
No.
family. My best friend, I've been friends with her since grade 9. She's family.
Mm,
People who are
yeah.
there for you in thick and thin, and you can
Mm,
trust 100%.
mm,
And every word that comes out of their mouth, you can trust. They're
yeah.
family.
Yeah. People you don't trust. then yeah, don't trust them. Don't let them in your life.
Don't let them hurt
So
you.
no, it's just times, we haven't got much time on this planet. Life's too short, so we need to find joy, find those that we have fun with, and do the
And
best we
celebrate
can.
them. Cherish them. Cherish the people that
Yeah,
treat you well.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you so much
Yeah.
for joining us. It
Thank
was
you.
an honor to have you, and I appreciate you joining us.
Oh, thanks for asking.